What's going on? I'm here with PFL featherweight Chris Wade. He's fighting Bubba Jenkins at the PFL Championship event on November 24th. So in the semis, your last fight, you dropped a super, super close decision to Bubba. He's fighting for the title now. So are you going in there looking to prove that, hey, I should have got that fight and I should be the guy fighting for the title?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's a, I honestly haven't been really dwelling on that one like I have in the past. First time I lost the split in the semis, year one, it stuck with me for a while. But I think it's like something about competing again, kind of like takes your mind off that track, makes you refocus on task at hand.
Yeah, for sure. And so, being that you are unfortunately eliminated, you didn't have to take the fight on this card, and it is a pretty quick turnaround after the last fight. So what motivated you to, keep fighting and put yourself on this card?
I would say like my motivation is a couple of different things. I genuinely love the sport and I love to compete. Like I've always said that in interviews, and a lot of people just say that shit to say it. They're like, "Oh yeah, put me out there." But if you look at my track record with the PFL, I fight 4 times a year, like every single year for the last 5 years or more. So I mean, the thing is like strike while the iron's hot, man. Like if if they want to see you out there and you get to compete and you can make some money, like let's go, let's do it. I'm in the gym training, sparring, fighting people anyway. So why not get a nice paycheck and fight someone I don't like, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you talk about your activity. I think you're one of the most active guys, in the entire sport. And with that, especially in an organization like the PFL, comes a lot of overlap with guys you fight. So this is going to be your third fight with Bubba. Do you like him? Because you just said you don't. So, I mean, is there beef there, or is it all just, competition?
I mean, listen, if it wasn't for us competing against each other in the same division in the last few years, would we not like each other still? I mean, probably not, because I wouldn't have any experience with the guy at all to know what he's like. Um, but I do know him, and I have been around him for the last 2 or 3 years, and there's really not very much I could say that I like about the guy at all. I respect his wrestling credentials, and other than that, I have no use for him.
So I mean, yeah, you've fought two solid fights. You won the first, he got the last one. What was different between the first and the second? And what do you think is going to be different about the third?
Third's going to be a way different fight. First of all, every fight's different, right? I mean, look at our first 2 fights. It proves that no 2 fights are the same. They don't usually go down the same way. Look at Volkan Islam, right? You watch the first fight, you're going to figure your second fight's going to go somewhat similar. First round, Islam head kicks him. Like, you can't make it up. So I know this fight's going to be different for a fact. And, second to it just being a different night of competing, the second fight, admittedly, I took a lot of things for granted because of how dominant I was against him in the first fight. I didn't really wrestle that much. I just like assumed that I had out wrestled him and that I would keep doing so. He made some nice adjustments, and my head going into the season just wasn't really there. I was still depressed from losing to Brendan the year before, and feeling sorry for myself that I had to go through this whole process again to try to get back to that $1 million fight. I just was in a bad way mentally, admittedly so. And when your head's running down those like pathways, it's really tough to run into like resistance, and to grit through it and to find a way to still win. And I just couldn't get out of this like mental funk. It was kind of a blessing in disguise, because it was that performance and that loss that kind of like reinvigorated me. And I think if you watch my last two fights, I'm a completely different guy than I was in that April fight.
For sure. So I mean, you use the word like you were depressed after last season. When you talk about your mental struggles after losing a fight, are you able to keep that strictly just to fighting and training, or when you're feeling like that, does it carry over into all aspects of your life, where you're just kind of in a funk day to day?
Sometimes yes, sometimes I can't. Like for instance, the last fight, I did lose, right? And it was a huge spot to go to the finals. So you would think that that would be just as bad as the one with Brendan the year before in the semifinals, but it wasn't. I felt like I won that fight. I felt like I performed so much better. I showed heart. I showed resilience and toughness, and like those are the things that I'm proud of as like a fighter. And in the other fight, none of those. I didn't really feel any of those things. So I was. It carried through into other aspects of my life in the last semifinal. This one, maybe because I have the experience, I I was able to keep things separated and to like refocus myself.
Yeah. I mean, knowing about, thinking intrinsically about yourself and knowing that you are such a competitive guy and that there's a chance you take a loss like really, really hard, like you've said you've done in the past. When you're going into fights, is that like an added layer of pressure where you're like, if I lose, it's not just me losing a fight. There's a chance that I'm beating myself up over this for, months to come? Or is that just something you kind of worry about after the fight?
Yeah, I don't really worry about it going into the fight because I'm not. I'm just a genuinely an optimistic guy, and I believe like I put work in, so I believe in myself. But I knew going into that April fight that unless he was, I just felt it like there. Unless he came with nothing to offer and he was having a bad night, it was going to be tough for me to beat anybody that was competing at 45 that night. I just was like, I didn't want to be there. I didn't even want to be like in the cage, and it was all stemmed from fight with. I just, you know, a lot of people would want to say that they want playoffs and like on the cusp of a year. This over the hump, like have again, and that was like stacked. Did I
Okay.
lose you?
Yeah, you did. That's okay. I really only have one question left for you, but yeah, that last answer kind of dropped out in the middle, but it's all good. So I guess I
Oh,
mean,
okay. Sorry about that.
no worries. I think it might be on my end because my computer's been weird all day. You're good, but I guess my last question would be, first, thank you very much for your time today. I really enjoyed this conversation, learned a lot about you. So thank you for taking the time. But last thing I got to ask is, what's your prediction for this third trilogy fight? How's it going to go down?
Oh, I have a bold prediction that I'm going to finish him, that I'm going to make him quit, and then he's gonna he's gonna either get TKO'd or he's gonna get submitted. But I just like I'm locked in mentally right now. I'm ready to go to absolute war with this guy. I really am. I know, like again, what talking is talk, but I'm just in such a different place than I was in the springtime, and like I think that's gonna hurt him really bad because he thinks I am, who I was in there in April, and rightfully so because he just competed against me, but he doesn't know. He doesn't understand that he you know they say let sleeping dogs lie, man, and he can't control himself, and he won, but he had to be like a dick in there. He had to do. There's always extra with that guy, and when you do shit like that, you motivate people, And that's where he made the mistake, is that I'm going to make an example of him, that you don't disrespect people, and you don't poke the bear, because, it comes back to you. It all comes back to you.
Awesome, man. Well, you seem very, very locked in. Thank you again for the time today, and good luck in the fight.
I lost your audio.
Oh.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but you can't hear me.
I got you back now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I just said you seem very, very locked in, and good luck in the fight. Thank you for the time today.
Thank you so much, man. I am. I'm looking forward to it, genuinely.
Thanks, man. Have a good one.
All right.